What we think, we become. Restlessness. The experience of energy you don't know how to channel. Psychology suggests that the energy arises from a desire, but one we can't quite acknowledge. When we mull over our options for action, eventually one thought begins to take precedence. Soon we move into action. Thus, we've found a way to channel our energy. 3 components to channeling our human being. 1. Input side. Given energy which comes from universal life force. 2. Output side. Turn the energy into action or experiences. 3. In the middle. Psychology of our mind. Our ideas about how to spend our energy. The formula of creation going through channels. How energy is channeled determines its effect. It's the fundamental process of creation. It originates from the Creator. It's how the Creator, God, created all that exists. We use the same energy field that God does. God patterned this one energy, universal life force. A multitude of patterns arose out of the mind of God and channeled that one energy into forms of nature. The basic process of channeling. Spirit is life. Spirit is life. Mind is the builder. Physical is the result. Patterning. Patterning is like a film projector. Light bulb in the projector is the source of energy. It shines a neutral light like spirit. Place film in the projector, and the patterns on the film pattern the neutral light, shaping and coloring it. The film is like the mind, a source of patterns. Result, pictures on the screen. Physical manifestation. What we experience is the result of patterning of light, which comes from our thoughts. Thoughts are things. What they say, thoughts are things. Ideas channeled of material reality. As a man thinketh, so is he. So he is. Proverbs 27:3. Patterns we hold in our mind channel the life energy into physical expression. Ideas have their effect through their patterns. Ideas exist in another dimension. Some call it the astral plane. I know that they say there's only 3 dimensions to our reality, in which case I do believe that's true. However, I do happen to pretty good amount of certainty that an unseen realm, if you will, exists. It has been proven through monotonic gold. The stuff disappears. And one of the people who were experimenting with it, I don't prefer to call it a dimension, because I think there are only 3 dimensions. This would be the astral plane, for lack of a better term. Monotonic gold disappears into it. The unseen force has to work somewhere. Some may call it counter space. That's what Eric P. Dollard calls it. Ideas exist outside of time and space. Ideas are real in themselves and become real in the physical world. Ideas create our physical world. Personal expectations and attitudes affect how we experience events. That is so true. How do ideas create our physical world? As we tune in to an idea, it begins to shape our experience. Every moment of our lives, we're acting as channels of energy, shaping events through the ideas we hold. Ideals in what spirit will you channel? What ideas will you channel into reality? Because the thoughts we have are so influential in our lives, we need to consider carefully which thoughts we give our attention to. It's a matter of values. It's important to establish our concept of ideals. What is your highest value? What is the ideal by which you choose to steer your life? Our models of perfection, the perfect 10, exists only as an idealized spirit form in the superconscious region of the mind. We will never find perfectly realized in physical form. Asking yourself, what is my highest value or ideal, is an exercise in raising your consciousness to the superconscious mind. Ideal is meant to stimulate emulation and guide our actions, but not to hold out hope of perfect success. Ideals are the parents of ideas. Ideals are unachievable. Yes, if you can achieve it, it is an idea. Yes, ideals are your values. Ideals continually motivate and inspire us. Ideas die once achieved. Values based on an ideal keep us going. Ideals: X, love, harmony, peace. Idea: example, wealth, happiness. Learning to express your ideal is one way to channel your higher self, the ideal of the Christ consciousness. What makes Jesus special is his total awareness of his divinity within, his willingness to accept it, and to sin is to miss the mark. When we turn our backs on our awareness of oneness and take our physical being, our existence in the material world, as the prime reality, we miss the mark. Cayce defined sin as self, meaning to focus on our separateness rather than our oneness. Antidote to separateness is to focus on oneness. Cayce defined sin as self, meaning to focus on our separateness rather than our oneness. Antidote to separateness is to focus on oneness. Antidote to feeling lonely is to forget yourself and reach out to someone else in love. Antidote to feeling lonely is to forget yourself and reach out to someone else in love. Okay, yes. I get it. This is the spirit of Christ consciousness. Christ consciousness is an ideal that can provide continuous inspiration for a lifetime. If you find the term Christ consciousness objectionable, search within yourself for your own sense of your ideal. What's important is that you look within and become conscious of what is there. That your own intuition guide you to the ideal that you would choose to govern the spirit by which you live. Channeling the ideals of the higher self. Cayce tells us in order to channel your higher self, you need to attune to an ideal. Then, to set oneself aside so that the ideal may express itself, are the currency of the higher self. Ideals you set for yourself determine the qualities of the higher self that you will experience. I die daily so that Christ may live in me. Paul. Set the ideal, then be spontaneous. Once your ideal is set, you can trust in the flow. Yes. You begin channeling the ideal of your higher self. Yes. Channeling sexual energy. Sexual energy is the strongest physical force within the body. No sex act or sexual relation is necessarily bad in and of itself. Rather, it's the purpose or the desire that the sexual event is expressing that determines its value. Sexual energy is best served when used as a guide to an awareness of God and the divinity of another person. I usually prefer to say the universe. When used for your own self-gratification, it may lead to an unhealthy attachment. Same is true for channeling. If channeling is used for self-achievement or self-gratification, it likely will lead to confusion. If channeling is used to help oneself or someone else grow and expand, it will more than likely be of value. For parents only, channeling new life. The heavenly home. Home is the model and our closest experience on earth of the heavenly home. Making one's home like heaven on earth is a rewarding experience in channeling. What is an ideal home? It is a home with an ideal. Building Healthy Relationships by Charles and Leslie Cayce. Companionship. A desire for companionship was God's motivation for creating souls. And companionship is an essential quality in the ideal home environment. It's easy to take our companions for granted. here and beyond. To remind ourselves of the heavenly delight of home companionship is to remember some of our most precious moments of channeling are simple. Subtle pleasures of making room for someone else to share our life. Love, the giving out of that within self. Love motivates every soul. Love is the law unto itself. Love is a channel of miracles. It can transcend the law of cause and effect. Love can break the rules. Forgiveness. Each of us, in countless ways, find ourselves violated in some manner by someone else's inexcusable action. Their insensitive or harmful act causes us to become angry. There's cause and effect, and it may continue, like a row of falling dominoes, toward an inevitable conclusion. By an act of forgiveness, however, by accepting what happened and forgiving the person, you can break the chain. Forgiveness is one of God's creative powers to perform miracles. In conclusion, every day, every moment of our lives, we give ourselves toward one goal or another. With every heartbeat, we channel love, and what our heart dwells upon, what our minds think about, we become or experience in our lives. We continually channel our energy, our love, our ideas, our ideals, our actions, into creating life as we would have it. It's the most everyday, ordinary, and miraculous channel we do. Chapter 5, Meditation, Channel of the Spirit. Today's affirmation. By quieting my mind, I allow answers to arise from within. Meditation is listening to the divine within. Edgar Cayce. Channel of Spirit. Two well-known channelers credit meditation as the womb that spontaneously gave birth to their channeling practice. To intentionally make contact with the higher dimensions, begin meditating. Meditation on the breath, the channel of inspiration. How to meditate. Use your breath, a word or image, as a focus point. Concentrate on your focus, and whatever your mind strays, return to your focus. Begin by simply breathing and study your breath for a moment. As you become aware of your inhale and exhale, allow the exhale to bring you into relaxation. Allow your breath to just happen. Don't try to control it. It breathes me. Watching the breath is an ancient Zen Buddhist technique to meditate and an important channel of inspiration. You are learning to allow the breath of life, the spirit, to flow through you. Become a channel of awareness. Become aware of the silent witness. The little I is focused on thoughts and things, whereas the silent I is focused on witnessing. The silent witness is the first level of consciousness of the higher self. Be still and know that I am God. How to meditate. A fuller understanding of I am. Use your breath, a word or image, as a focus point, or I'd say music. Concentrate on your focus, and whenever your mind strays, return to your focus. Place your intention to stay focused in gentle opposition with your mind's natural tendency to wander. These two forces meet and gradually cancel each other out. This leaves the presence of I am awareness to reveal itself in the background. This I am awareness leads to far greater awareness. The higher consciousness within is not above you. God isn't above us, but within us. Raise your consciousness within self, then higher self or God meets you there. As you go within, become aware of the vibrations. Higher, more, light, dense, subtle, coarse. Follow the path of calmness in search of higher vibrations. Search for the peace that surpasses all understanding. It's a particularly fine vibration. Immediately, there's a feeling of moving higher within. The higher consciousness within is not above you. Seeking answers from within. Cayce assures us we can contact an awareness that knows answers to the questions that confront us. All knowledge is within. Meditation is a very portable guide that travels within you everywhere you go. Asking your higher self for guidance. If you have a question or a decision, commit to an answer on paper or saying it aloud. This begins the channeling process. Next, enter into meditation and focus on your ideal. Maybe it's love for 20 minutes or so. When you come out of meditation, ask your question or state your decision and become aware of any insights that arise. Page 96 and 97 has an excellent example of this. Meditation on an ideal. A lot more goes on in meditation than what you might expect. It's a time where other dimensions, other realities, other vibrations become an influence on the person. Research has proven that meditation improves psychic sensitivities. Other minds, including those of the dead, as well as other forms of spirit energy, have easier access to our mind. While meditating, it's important to attune yourself to the highest vibration. Imagine surrounding yourself with love and light. This creates a boundary that separates and protects us from anything that's not in accordance with our intentions. I'm going to read that one again. This creates a boundary that separates and protects us from anything that's not in accordance with our intention. Research has proven that meditation improves psychic sensitivities. Attuning to an ideal. Whatever you focus on in meditation, it's like tuning your mind to that particular channel. You receive the energies of that wavelength in a pure, concentrated form. When we meditate on an ideal, the pattern of energy contained in that ideal actually affects us. We become a channel for spiritual energy to influence our being.
Meditation in the Book of Revelation. Revelation. Revelation, 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 revelation.
Cayce said the Lord's Prayer, as taught by Jesus, is actually a formula for patterning the opening of the psychic centers. Cayce believed that when Apostle John's centers opened in the pattern, the endocrine glands functioned in harmony to allow God's consciousness to fully inhabit John's body and be present in his awareness. The book of Revelation describes a second coming of Christ. It already happened. It's the birth of the Christ consciousness in John, in each of us. God's incarnation in John's body, as was the case with Jesus, becomes a totally conscious experience. The Egyptians practiced Hermeticism. And if you really look at it, once you learn about both and you know that astrology is the oldest religion, astrotheology, they came into being right after the Roman Empire traded its swords in for plowshares and Bibles, or crosses, with their pontiff uniforms. And originally, the Bible was banned by the Catholic Church. There has never supposed to have been using any idols. That's supposed to be a sin. But yet they use candles and these big crosses and chains and weird outfits with fish head hats and all kinds of crazy stuff. They sell. Someone could buy their way into heaven. defying a stairway to heaven. I think the closest people were the ancient Egyptians, whoever they were, the Atlanteans maybe. They practiced Hermeticism. And as a matter of fact, the founding fathers were not Christians. They were Hermetics. And who would make a religion of love based on fear? The Freemasons. They were Freemasons. But that was a time before the Catholic Church infiltrated them and corrupted them. It's the birth of the Christ consciousness in John. It becomes a totally conscious experiment. The body is the temple. Cayce repeatedly reminds us the body is the temple. It's where we meet with God, or the universe. Cayce does not propose us to become hell freaks. He tells us it's not what we put into our bodies that defiles us, but what comes out of our body by the way of thoughts, speech, and actions. It's not the substance itself that causes harm, but what we digest of what we eat. The principle is similar to the dream principle. It's not what we learn that changes us. It's what we apply of what we learn. Cayce also recommends the use of scent, chanting, music, and breathing exercises before meditating. They are aids to help us invoke what is within us. Very good. Yes, it's about time somebody said something about music. Meditation as channeling. In meditation, we channel the life energy, the creative forces themselves, as they quicken our awareness of our higher self. Meditation is a process of channeling God's energy through us in a pattern that's most in tune with our consciousness of that higher self. Each time we churn within and open ourselves to the channel of higher consciousness, we take another step forward in being able to express that awareness in our lives. Questions and exercises. Number 1, focus on your breath for 10 minutes. Number 2, focus on a word or image or song for 10 minutes. Oh, let's do the song. Let's meditate to a song. Chapter 6, Inspirational Writing. Today's affirmation. I am healed by the divine love of universal spirit. Inspirational writing. A Course in Miracles by Helen Schumann was channeled completely through inspirational writing. Jonathan Livingston Seagull by Richard Bach is another example. It's not uncommon to hear authors talk about how they ride creative impulses in their writing. Indeed, channeled writing might feel like ghost writing. Being a constructive channel. Attune yourself to an ideal, like love or peace, for about 5 to 10 minutes or more. Allow your whole being, mind and body, to resonate with the spiritual energy of the ideal. Then allow your thoughts to flow directly onto paper. Your writing will reflect and express the spirit or ideal. Here we have inspired constructive writing, a channel of the higher self. Disassociation and automatisms. Disassociation and automatism, a channel of the subconscious mind. A process of getting up and getting dressed is mildly disassociated from our conscious mind. All the little details of our actions occur as automatisms, reflex actions directed by the subconscious mind. Cayce taught that all subconscious minds are in contact with one another. The subconscious mind isn't, could you imagine what you could find if you tapped into it? Really? Wow. I like what Paulie said to me the last live stream, that Our intuition can catch a lie because we hear it in reverse speech. That's if we're that good, then we are definitely being underrated. The process of getting up they can also express subliminally perceived telepathic information from the living and the dead. Automatic writing versus inspirational writing. Handwriting is another source of automatism. We do it automatically, without thinking. Many famous writers have used automatic writing as a means to channel information. Ruth Montgomery, in her autobiography. Cayce discourages the use of Ouija boards, as it is disassociated autism. Brad Stoker, Ouija, the most dangerous game. Absolutely, those things, I don't like them. I never did. Writing automatically with the subconscious mind as a source of the material results primarily simply in the production of channeled material. I do think that the Native Americans talk about skinwalkers. And I remember that one scientist had some kind of theory about various spiritual entities of varying intelligences. It is possible that we can pick up maybe a baddie if we're attuned with it. I don't think they can touch us if we stay within our higher self, because nobody can stay in their higher self. Now, Watts did the knife too sharp analogy, and that's good. But if we're striving for it, that's really all we can do, right? Is just keep trying, do our best. Experiment with inspirational writing. Writing automatically with the subconscious mind as a source of the material results primarily simply in the production of the channeled material. I already said that. What comes through may affect the person. Inspirational writing comes from the supraconscious mind, which is attuned to your higher self. IW promotes growth in consciousness. Meditating on an ideal before IW inspirational writing, allows the ideal to serve as both a magnet and a filter for what will pass through the channel. Experiment with inspirational writing. Practice. One way to get started is to simply begin writing out your ideal. Perhaps you begin with a single word or phrase. Maybe you'll find yourself simply writing that again and again. Whatever you write, it doesn't matter. Example, maybe my ideal is to be the best I can be. So I keep writing that over and over again. I am aware of what I am writing, but I don't judge it. I don't do anything to interfere with what my hand might feel inclined to write. And then I find the phrase begins evolving and changing. I can be my best. The best in me can come through me, etc. I feel I am starting to warm up and begin trusting more in the process. Tips. Let go of any demands on yourself for performance. Be playful. I love to be playful. I never take anything too serious. Let go of the need to write something of importance. Allow yourself to flow. Don't take it too seriously. Forget about whether or not you're doing it right. Forget about grammar and punctuation. Most people hesitate before they write, waiting for inspiration, evaluating, censoring, or filtering, analyzing your thoughts before you write will keep you from writing in an inspirational flow. Write anything and nothing in particular. Just play with the words. It's a good way to get started. It's easier to receive ideas while writing than by just sitting waiting for the ideas to arrive. Starting the flow is the hardest part. First, the words are the hardest to get out. After that, you'll find rhythm and flow that's right for you. Focus on your feeling of attunement to your ideal and let it express itself in your writing. Cayce recommends not reading your writing for 30 days, but keep writing. The inspired word and creativity. When the emphasis is on the process of tuning into your feelings, not on being inspired with holiness or wisdom, the pleasure of inspirational writing is available to all of us. Words bring our awareness into the consciousness of being. Playfulness adds another link between inspirational writing and creativity. The more we can accept ourselves as a channel in the awake state, the more we can realize that we need only be ourselves, who we really are, to our higher self, to channel our higher self. Learn from your breathing. Meditation on the breath can become a basis for learning inspirational writing. A willingness to trust in inspirational writing without first knowing what you will write requires meditative frame of mind. Inspirational writing, in a way, to channel higher consciousness, but automatic writing is trick shooting. Inspirational writing is a way to channel higher consciousness, but automatic writing is trick shooting. I personally believe it's all about intention and little to do with semantics. I see what Cayce is saying here, but believe within the context of love and light, the same result can be achieved whether we call it automatic writing or inspirational. 3 modes of breathing. 1. Controlled. We can choose how we breathe, controlling the length and fullness. Automatic. When we don't pay attention to our breath, it happens automatically, by itself. We have voluntarily suspended our interference with the breath momentarily. Yet we could assume control at any time. Inspired. We are consciously allowing our to express itself while we watch. By becoming calm and relaxed, by trusting our breath, we allow ourselves to be inspired. 3 modes of writing. Controlled. Much of our writing happens this way. We decide what to write and how to write it. Automatic. Writing without awareness of the act. The handwriting happens by itself, controlled by the subconscious mind. Inspired. Maintaining an awareness of what we are writing, we allow the writing to proceed on its own, to just happen. We don't decide upon thoughts to record, we just allow them to express themselves. Watching our thoughts reveal themselves as we write. Answers from the higher self. A genuine need is the greatest stimulant for the flow. Meditation shapes the flow. A special value of inspirational writing is that we can use a form of role-playing to get answers from our higher self. Ron Carey's approach to channeling. Imagine what it would be like to be God. Pose a question to yourself. Imagine God hearing the question. Allow yourself to answer the question as God might. Dream incubation as a way to channel. Imagine some person as the personification of your highest ideal, real or imagined. For your meditative attunement, allow yourself to imagine what it feels like to be this person. Write down those feelings. Now pose a question to that person. Use inspirational writing to receive an answer from that person. Ask for clarification if needed. Wrestle with the angel and it will bless you. Ooh, that's good. I like that. I've never seen that before. Questions and exercises. Share with the group any experiences you've had with automatic or inspirational writing. How do we feel about Cayce's caution against automatic writing and his recommendation to use the steps outlined for IW instead? Do the practice exercise under the subheading Learn from Your Breathing. The steps are outlined there to practice inspirational writing. I like to meditate first, and then when I come out, I have a journal handy and write down a question. Then I hold that question with my ideal of love for a few moments, then begin writing. Remember, IW works best when you have a purpose. Chapter 7, Artistic Channels of Creativity. Today's affirmation: I trust my higher being to lead me along the right path. When the real music comes to me, the music of the spheres, the music that surpasses understanding, that has nothing to do with me, because I'm just the channel. The only joy for me is for it to be given to me and transcribe it like a medium. Those moments are what I live for. John Lennon. Well. Cayce indicates that it is the arts that provide the channeling opportunities for the greatest expression of spiritual truths. Our inherent creativity is thus both a powerful and fun way to explore and develop our ability in channeling our higher self. The spirit of creativity in the arts. All artists give credit to flashes of insight, the spontaneous flow of the imagination, when they are channels of creativity. We already are channels of creative energy. The challenge seems to be for us to accept that gift and develop its expression. Art is the way we can manifest our spirit in the material world. George Winston. The Temple Beautiful. The Temple Beautiful were in Egypt, 10,500 BC. The purpose of these temples was to either purify people of disease or initiate them into the mysteries by raising their consciousness through the arts. The arts were actively employed as a holistic mode of education and transformation. Of all sensory effects, odor has the most powerful influence on the body. Through chanting and dancing with the proper music, one's conception of one's body in the material world can change to the point that one becomes aware of everything consists of vibration. In this manner, a person can learn how the energy is the basic reality and how to pattern it toward a desired manifestation. There is no powerful method for revealing spiritual truths than the arts. Janet Lapp, a psychologist from California State University, has verified that listening to music can alleviate migraine headaches and prolong life. Gary Schwartz, a psychologist from Yale University, has verified that the aroma of spiced apples can lower blood pressure, and the aroma of peaches can reduce pain. Clearly, art can affect consciousness. It can inspire us, evoke emotions, or create higher emotions. Ideals, art, and creativity. There is a close association in folklore and research that closely links genius with madness. Absolutely. I've always seen that link. The tension between profound creativity and madness provides another lesson in channeling. Cayce indicates that although the arts are the greatest channel for the realization of spiritual truths, he also warns that no other channel can unleash such destructive influences. Opening the channel when the adrenals are overstimulated, as in fear and anger, is much more hazardous than overstimulated sex center. Such stimulation is much more provocative of mental disturbances and the anguish of obsessive-compulsive states of mind than sexual stimulation. David McClellan, studied the effect of two movies on people. One, Nazi concentration camps, which weakened viewers' immune systems, leaving them more vulnerable to disease. And two, Mother Teresa's charitable works, which strengthened their immunity to disease. That's pretty interesting. Ideals expressed in movies affect our bodies in subtle but profound ways. When opening ourselves to the channel of creative influences, ideals also serve as a safety anchor. Make sure you anchor yourself in love or another ideal, as always when channeling your higher self. A spiritual appreciation for art. We can use artists' perception of the world as a stimulant to our own perception. Cayce recommended listening to music to transform your emotions. Music can help us bridge the gap between the physical body and the infinite reaches of consciousness. Music also serves as a bridge between changes in activities, to help change our mood when we need to relax or when we need to get up and work. Music helps you experience your feelings more clearly, deal with them better, and ultimately change your mood. Listening to music is a wonderful way to open the channel to inspiration and visions.